Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's tutorial, I'll show you how to work with the DAX formulas in Excel using Power Pivot tool. So basically we will walk through the implementation of two types of DAX formulas, which are nothing but calculated columns and the measures. So these are some powerful tools for the data analysis and it can make you work more efficiently, especially when you are dealing with a large data set. So before we dive in, let me briefly explain what DAX is. So DAX is nothing but the data analysis expressions and it is a formula language used in Microsoft tools like Power Pivot, Power BI or the SQL Server analysis services. So basically it allows you to create some custom calculations that go beyond some regular Excel formulas. So the next one is Power Pivot and it is an add-in in Excel that lets you create data models, relationships and some complex calculations using that. So the first thing first, let's see how to enable Power Pivot in your Excel. So what you can do is like go to File, there you will get an option for options. So once you will click on that, you will get this pop-ups, click on add-ins and afterwards click on Microsoft Power Pivot for Excel and under the manage, select COM add-in and click on go. Once you will click on go, you will get one new pop-up and over there you need to make sure that Microsoft Power Pivot for Excel is check mark, and once you will click on OK, you will get this option of Power Pivot into your Excel. Okay, so once we are done with setting up with the Power Pivot in Excel, now let's see how to load the data into Power Pivot. So in Excel, once you have the data, what you can do is like go to Power Pivot. Once you will go to Power Pivot, you will get an option for add to data models. Afterwards, click create a table. So click on OK. So once you will click on OK, your Power Pivot query will get enabled and you will get the new editor where you can implement some DAX measures over there. So in this way, you can load the data into Power Pivot. So the next step is about the DAX implementation. So this is where the fun begins. So we will start with the implementing DAX formulas. So DAX formulas can be used in two main ways as I told you earlier. First is calculated columns or the measures. But what the exact difference is in between them? So the calculated columns, these are some row level calculations. So meaning the DAX formulas is applied to each row in the table. So think of it as creating a new column in your data with the calculated values for the each row. The next one is the measures. So these are the aggregation formulas that summarizes the data across multiple rows and they are the most commonly used in pivot tables or the pivot charts. So now let's move on to our practical part. So we have the sales data of XYZ company for the month of March. So first we will try to load this data into Power Query Editor by adding it to the data model. For that, I'll go to the Power Pivot, add it to the data model. Okay. So it will try to load all the entries into our Power Query Editor. So it will take some time to load it. Okay, so now we are into our Power Query Editor. So first let's start by creating a calculated column. So for this, we are going to calculate the total cost for each of our product, which is simply price per unit multiplied by the number of units sold. So what I can do is like I'll go to design. Over here, I'll get the option for add columns. Once I'll click on that, I'll get the new column here. So our formula would be units sold into price per unit. So I'll have equal to sign units sold into price per unit. So this formula will get generated automatically here and I'll hit enter over here. So now we can see that it has given us a total cost for each of our product at the row level. So I'll just change the column name to total cost. Okay, so now we have seen how to create calculated columns over here. Now let's move on to our second part, which is nothing but the measures. So measures, we know that these are some aggregate calculations used for the summaries. So a great example of a measure over here would be a total revenue. This would sum up our total revenue across all the products. So what we can do is like I'll go to this calculation area. So the below part is nothing but the calculation area. So to have the measures, you need to give colon and equal to sign. Once you will have this sign, we will use the sum x formula to calculate this total revenue. So I'll start typing. So once you will start typing, you will get all the options related to that here. So I'll select SumX because I need that. So after that, I'll select my table. So my table name is table 1, and afterwards comma, and then I need to write the expression for the calculation of the total revenue. So that would be total revenue would be units sold into price per unit for all the rows. So what I can do is like I'll apply it on the table level. So I'll have this table 1 into table 1, and in that I'll have units sold into, I'll start again typing. In table 1 I'll have price per unit. So my formula here is ready for the measure. So I'll have some X formula on my table. So my table name is table 1, and in table 1 I'll have units sold into price per unit. So I'll hit enter. So once I'll hit enter, it will take some time to calculate this measure. So now I can see here my first measure is ready, and it is giving me the answer as 493571. But the major one naming convention is not convenient. It is very vague. So I'll change it to the total revenue. So I now have this total revenue measure ready for my analysis. So now I can see like we can see now this measure is ready to used in pivot table or the pivot chart. So we can pull it into our table and chart also to analyze the total revenue across different products, maybe the customers or the dates. All right, so now let's implement some few more useful DAX formulas to show how flexible or powerful DAX can be. So I'll walk you through few more examples of calculated columns and the measures. So the first one would be average price per unit. That would be a measure. So let's say you want to know average price per unit for all the products. So what we will do is like we will try to implement one new measure for the average price. So what I'll do is like I'll again go to the calculation area. I'll have colon and equal to sign, and for the average price what I can do is like I can use average X formula. So I'll have average X formula on my table. So my table name would be table 1, and in that I'll have the price per unit column name. Okay, so now this would be my expression or the measure to calculate. So I'll use average X formula on my table, and in that table 1 I'll have price per unit column to calculate average price per unit measure. I'll hit on enter. So it will take some time to calculate it. Okay, so now it has given us answer as 470.33. Again, I'll change my measure name because measure 1 doesn't make any sense. So I'll have this as average price. Okay, so now my second measure is ready. So now let's try to implement one more measure for the total units sold. So let's say suppose we want to sum up the total number of units sold across all the products. So what we can do is like we can apply a measure with the formula with the formula of sum. So what I can do is I'll have new measure again. In here I'll use only sum formula. Okay, so in sum what I'll have is like in my table 1 I'll just have the column units sold, enter. So now this will give you a simple sum of all the units sold across the data set. So I'll again change the name to total units sold. Okay, so now till now we have implemented three measures now. So we will try to implement more measures, but into Power Pivot tab. So what I'll do is like first I'll close this Power Pivot query editor. So there are two ways to have or create the measures. So first one will be that will be the way I have shown you right now in the Power Query editor. So let's see the next one. So I'll just close this tab. So okay, so now we are again into our Power Pivot tab into our Excel. So what we can do is like we will try to implement measures over here. So we have the option to create measures here. So under Power Pivot, we have the option of measures. So first we will what do? First we will see if our three already created measures are here or not. So yes, we can see that our all three created measures are here. So we can edit our measure if we want, or if you don't want it, you can delete it. You can add the new measure from here also, or you have the option to create new measures from here also. So, okay, so now my window is open for to create a new measure. So let's add one more measure from here. So I'll try to add a measure for revenue by product. So the table name, it is already getting displayed as table 1. So I want to create a new measure. I'll name it as revenue by product. I'll give the same description here. Okay, so now my formula would be I need to calculate it with the total revenue and the product. So what I can do is like I have equal to sign, I'll calculate it. So I'll calculate this measure on the previous measure which I have already created, and that is but nothing but a total revenue. So if you can see that is already getting shown here because we have created that measure successfully. So I'll use that measure to create a new measure. So I'll have this new measure created on my product column. So I'll have this product column from the table 1, and I'll close this parenthesis, and I'll check the formula. So it is displaying like we have no errors into this, and simply I'll click on OK. So once I'll click on OK, it has created new measures. So let's just check once if we have it or not. Okay, so in the manage measures, we can see that we have our revenue by product measure created successfully here. Okay, so now we will see how can we use these measures and use them into pivot table to get some insights. And along with that, we will also see how we can use them to visualize the data which we have calculated with the DAX measures quickly. So for this, what I'll do is I'll go to the insert. First, I'll create a pivot table from table range. So I'll have this table in the new worksheet, and I'll check this mark, that is add this data to the data model, and I'll click on OK. So now we have pivot table and fields on the right side. So in the table 1, if I'll go down, you can see like we have all those 4 measures which we have created. So now let's quickly see. Uh, Now let's see like I'll have products to the rows, and I'll check the total revenue for each of our product. So I'll pull this total revenue into the values. So we can see for each product what was the total revenue in the month of March. So what I want to do is like I'll just select only top 5 products with that total revenue. So I'll go to the right click, then I'll go to the filter top 10. So instead of top 10, I'll have top 5 values, and I'll have top 5 items by the total revenue. I'll click on OK. So now we have these 5 products, top products with their total revenues along with it. So now quickly I'll create one more table for this. So in that table, I'll check the average price for top 5 product. So I'll create one more pivot table. I'll remove this values first. So I'll have product in the rows, and we have calculated average price also. I'll clear the filter first. Okay, so now we have product along with their average value, average price. So I'll try to apply the filter again for the top 5 products. I'll have top 5 items by average per price. I'll click on OK. So now we have this top 5 products with their average price. So now quickly see how we can create pivot charts along with this. So for the first table, I'll go to pivot table analysis. I have option of pivot chart here. Suppose I'll have this clustered column for this. I'll click on OK. If you want to learn these pivot charts in detail, then I'll give you more links for this. So right now I'm just showing these pivot charts very quickly because I have already covered this topic into one of my earlier videos. So I'll try to create one more pivot chart for the another column, for the another pivot table. Okay, so now we have these two pivot charts. So first pivot chart, I'll just modify quickly. It is for total revenue. I'll add the title. I'll add the title for the another pivot chart also. It is average price. I'll remove these buttons. So right click, hide all the field buttons. I'll do the same again. Right click, hide all the field buttons. Then I'll click on plus. I'll remove the grid lines and legend also, and add the data labels. I'll do the same for this. Okay, so now I'll just remove this axis also because I don't need it as I'm displaying all these values here. Okay, so now we have these two pivot charts ready for our pivot tables. And we have created both of these pivot charts and tables from the measures which we have created earlier. So there you have it. Today we explored two powerful ways to use DAX in Excel, which is by calculated columns and the measures. So calculated columns are perfect for row level calculations like total cost, while measures are great for aggregating or summarizing your data like total revenue or the monthly sales. So I hope this tutorial gave you a clear idea of how to work with the DAX in Excel using Power Pivot. So don't forget to like, subscribe and comment if you found this video very helpful, and as always feel free to drop your questions in the comment section below. Thank you so much and have a great day.